Alright, welcome back to the Supercoach Nuff channel. In this video we're going to preview Game Week 5 of Fantasy Premier League in the 24-25 season. But before we do, we'll review Game Week 4, which was a bit of a tougher week for a lot of us. I scored 53 points in the end, which was on par, and mostly came down to one of my key transfers. But in goal, we had Sells with 9 points. So obviously the clean sheet against Liverpool was unexpected, but we'll take that. And I guess sadly for me, that meant my other Liverpool assets didn't do so good. Guardiola with a 1 point. So only played half the game, so that made it a bit tough. Tough one against Arsenal this game week. Newcastle's not as bad as it looks there in the next one. But you imagine Guardiola definitely be playing big minutes for that one. Trent with the 1 point. Obviously, the loss to Forest meant there was no attacking stats there for him. Also, I think he was another on he played in the 90. Just copped a yellow card on the way through. And Robinson also not keeping a clean sheet, but playing the full 90. Our midfield, so I guess the only player who scored for us was Smith Rowe. Anana was actually another one who only played a half of soccer, and Diogo Jota coming off after 59, so if he'd stayed on one more minute, could have squeezed an extra point. Smith Rowe, though, did get us an assist, a clean sheet, and a bonus point, so that was a nice return. But I guess fortunately we did bring in Haaland this week. So we actually brought in Smith Rowe and Haaland. So without those two, we could have been in a whole world of hurt. But Haaland getting 2 goals, another lot of bonus points. So had to be done. And Isak played half and under a bit of an injury cloud. So may potentially be using a trade this week. Mosquera did get some game time, but conceded 2 goals, so lost a point there for that. I guess before we talk about transfers, we'll have a look at the league. If I can find it. It's right there in front of me. So we end up squeaking a win over the East Valley Vikings, so Matt's team, the 44. So Martinez just conceding a couple of goals, copping a yellow, so no points there. Lissandro with the clean sheets, good. Kukurea must have, got a clean sheet and a yellow card. So a couple of clean sheets were helpful there. So Saka did get an assist, so we did trade out Saka last week to make the Haaland trade happen. But Son also blanking, so in the end, I think the right call. Palmer getting captain, so I was trying to work out how he got 6 points. I didn't see the C there, but did have Ollie Watkins who scored a couple of goals, so his best return for the year. So if you've got the money, maybe an Isak or Watkins type trade would be very handy this week. If we go back, there was a couple of bigger scores. So Jed Mack is bottom, unfortunately. He scored 65 and would have beaten anyone else except for, unfortunately, his head-to-head opponent this week. Havertz got a clue. So we'll have a look at both their teams. Raya in goal with 9 is a great return. Saliba with 5. Saka got a return. Captain Haaland, so some really solid returns there. Smith Rowe on the bench is probably unfortunate. Could have had him over Jackson and made another 6 points, which I still don't think was quite enough. But Cooper with his 72. So Captain Haaland, obviously. Gabriel with 15 points. That's massive. So scored a goal, got a clean sheet, and cleaned up on bonus points. I had Sells in goal too. So Smith Rowe So it looks like that was sort of, the key was Haaland, Gabriel, Smith Rowe was probably an important one in there too to be successful this week. Um, so I'll just go back to the league, have a look at the standings. So Havertz got a close shot up to the top with 4 from 4 and 305 points overall. So looks like it's moved into top spot overall in rank. So well done, Cooper. Shano get another win, so 4-0. I've stayed in fourth, so a little bit of a gap now from fourth down to fifth. Like I said, Jed Mack was pretty unlucky this week, and Shoab still to get on the board. But I guess this week, transfers, we've only got zero point 0.3 in the bank, so leaning towards rolling the free transfer with a view to sort of the upcoming international break in October, and we'll sort of hit the wild card and go from there. Um, but in terms of options that we've got, um, I guess Saka is looking quite good, despite us sort of binning him for Salah. So I might have to actually look. I think Liverpool's fixtures still pretty nice. The next few does swing after the international break, so could be a sneaky little play to sort of trade Jota and a Salah to a Saka and perhaps Palmer, perhaps Son. When their fixtures, yeah, they got a good run of fixtures coming up. I think Saka, after this week, Saka's obviously not a trade in this week with the Man City fixture, but a few nice ones after that. Does get a little bit rough afterwards, so Liverpool, Newcastle, Chelsea away probably aren't the worst, so it's probably a bit misleading. So there might be an opportunity there. So I think, yeah, we'll definitely look at those as a couple of potential options. And Burma is an interesting one now that Vissa is out injured. So you imagine he'll be the main man up front for Brentford. So as you can see, at 7.1 and already the fifth highest scorer. Um, could potentially go Eze, but Eze has still been super involved. It just hasn't had the returns. So I'm sure they will come. I think Onana was a bit of a mistake. We've already lost. We didn't really get any value out of him. He moved up 0.1. But yeah, there was sort of no real goal involvement in those games where he hasn't obviously scored a goal. But that's all right. I guess the only other place to really look is up front. So if we need to replace Isak, we can afford Havertz, but obviously not this week. Wouldn't be wise. Chris Wood's gone all right. We sort of had him in a few of our preseason squads, um, and Knots have been a pretty good. Not for Nottingham Forest, I should say, have been a pretty good team. Nicholas Jackson's an interesting one. It looks like he's locked in as the striker there. So, nice sort of price point as well. Mateta, a few people I've heard talk about. Um, but I guess they're giving him a good chance of playing this week, so might just hold, I think, and we'll have a look and reassess next week. Obviously, the issue is if he doesn't play, we don't really have bench cover. That's the strategy we've gone with, for better or worse. So we might just hold off on the transfers for this week. Um, but in saying that, the team essentially picks itself. I think Haaland against Arsenal could score, but smart money is Salah against Bournemouth as captain this week. Um, yes, we can do that. Um, but yeah, obviously we don't have a lot of manoeuvre room on the bench, so we'll just leave it as is. Save the team. No, it's okay, and we'll go from there. So, as always, if you've got any questions, comments, thoughts, feel free to add them below the video. Give us a like, obviously, if you enjoy the FPL content. Give us a subscribe for all the fantasy sports content on the channel. And other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.